moved to Woodmere in 1960. There were about 10 or 11 people that wanted to start a shul. And we bought a little house, a small ranch house, and that's what we started with. And why all these millions of people came, I don't know. But we had a wonderful beginning.
There would be the rotations that people would have to take on a weekly basis, making a commitment to ensure that there would be a minyan. And I believe it is upon their shoulders that we have built the thousands of minyanim that we have a year. I'll often come to the shul, sit in my car. Where I park, I have a vision of the front door, and I'll see the men coming in and coming out and coming in and coming out. And I marvel at this vision of a modern Orthodox shul where hundreds upon hundreds of members, lawyers, doctors, individuals in finance, teachers, rabbis, all come together to pray together, to take part in this enterprise of driving ourselves closer to the Ribono Shalom.
When my kids are adults, what are they going to remember about going to shul with me? What are the moments that are going to make impressions on them? I remember as a child always going to shul with my father, and to me that's a memory that I think every child should have, having the opportunity to go to shul with their parents, to understand what tefillah means to their parents, even before they understand what tefillah means to themselves.
The Young Israel Dinner almost answers everything that I'm looking for. It answers my feelings towards modern orthodoxy, towards Israel. You can come yourself, your parents, your children, you feel like you're building something here, really trying to establish yourself in a place that is giving to you as much as you're giving to them.
People don't realize that when I'm sitting up on top or standing at the pulpit, I get to see the entire shul in a different dimension. The members are all sitting in the pews and they're all looking forward towards the Aron, and even if they're looking backwards, they don't get a full view. When I look out into the crowd, you see a full packed shul.
People sometimes come to shul Friday night, Kabbalah Shabbos, and they'll comment they haven't seen a crowd like this since the Kotel. To see a women's Ezrat Nashim filled, to see a davening. It's an incredible scene for many people because they just don't see this in many modern Orthodox congregations.
Shabbos morning I wake up, prepare the house for lunch, get the food on the blech, get myself together, and I'm out the door. And I'm kind of running to be where I want to be. I'm comfortable going to Young Israel Woodmere. It's my place. I have my makom. That moment of being lost, that it's only me and my requests and my thankfulness and my appreciation, my gratitude, but it's me and God.
It's a huge thing for me to get here. With my eyesight having diminished over a 30-year period, and when I get in, people are always saying hello to me. It's just, I don't know who I'm talking to. The difference between me and everybody else is that they can actually see facial expressions. They can see, people's lips moving. It's very different than just listening. I find it unique. I find it special as it relates to listening to the shofar and listening to the davening.
Walking up to the bima when you're blowing the shofar really creates a tremendous understanding for what tefillah is, for what the kolos represent, and for what this entire Young Israel of Woodmere is here. It's made up of children, it's made up of older people, it's made up of people that maybe don't know how to read the machzor so well. It's made up of people that have been to shul hundreds of times, maybe people that come to shul just 3 or 4 times a year. But it's tremendous because that's what the Young Israel represents.
I think probably close to maybe 100 volunteers a week allow our services to take place on the level that they take place. We don't appreciate it necessarily because A, it's so seamless, and B, they're so quiet. Each minyan has a gaban that really dedicate themselves with lev v'nefesh, with heart and soul, to try and do their best to be able to service the people who are coming to minyan.
I really enjoy as being a gabai is when you're calling someone up for a simcha or chas v'shalom a yurtzeit or whatever it is, and there's a reason they're getting an aliyah. They're having a connection to something that's deeply important to them. And as a gabai, you get to stand up there and share that moment with them, and very fulfilling to be able to share people's life milestones with them.
The most memorable moment, I think, in the history of my time in the shul was when Mia Shem and her mother came to the shul, and it was standing room only, beyond standing room only, to the point where we had to ask people to leave, and you saw 2,000 people singing Achenu together, and that just, it is the absolute standard for the Young Israel of Woodmere, and it's an amazing, amazing thing that goes on here.
After October 7th, I said to myself, I'm going to go to shul, I'm going to daven. Tefillos is very important. This is my way of helping the soldiers in the front line, women and children who were left behind.
In the last of the middle brachos of the Shemona Esrei, we say Shomea Tefillah. Now that's very interesting because it should really be Shomea Tfilos. We've offered a multitude of Tfilos. So why do we say Shomea Tefillah? And the Medrash says perhaps the reason why is because what happens when a community davens together is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu basically collects all of them and they are presented as one Tefillah.
One of the central pillars that make up what it means to be a member of the Young Israel Woodmere is Tefillah B'tzibur, and the significance and the importance that daily prayer plays, that the Shabbat prayer plays. In truth, you can offer all different options of minyanim. You could have a 7 o'clock minyan and a 9 o'clock minyan, and you could have a Nusach Sfarad minyan, an 8:30 minyan. It doesn't tie it all together. What ties it all together is the ethos of the shul.
The shul is not just aesthetics, but it's about spirituality. That we at the Young Israel Woodmere, I mean, from the minyanim, from the seating, from all the events that go on here, that we're really a spiritual shul. The learning, of course, the Divrei Torah that we hear, there's tremendous speakers. You know, we had all the hostages here over the course of the last few years. The spirituality is just what makes this place run.
There are so many members of the shul who can look down and say, my grandchildren used to crawl under that bench. I remember when they were eating candy on that row. And for those individuals to now look at their grandchildren who are now grown parents of their own, bringing their own children to the shul, I would say there could be no greater bracha in the world for our community than the fact that we should all have the opportunity to have those memories and then to live those memories for the next generation.
The end of Ne'ilah is incredibly powerful. As I stand there with our Chazan Simcha Leiner, and I say the Kabbalas O Malchus Shamayim, Shema Yisrael, and then Hashem Elokim. And it's that dedicated feeling and sense of all our voices crying out what the Young Israel Woodmere is all about.
To me personally, what I really imagine the walls would say if we were able to communicate with them would be, we have heard your tears, we have heard and seen your cries, and your tefillos for the Jewish people, especially in Eretz Yisrael and around the world during this very difficult time that we've lived through. And what a miracle it is for these very same walls that have heard all of those tefillos and have captured all of our emotions to also have welcomed so many of those answered tefillos.
I think if the walls could talk, I think they would tell me about the history. Just think about it, the sides here of the plaques. The walls would tell us so many different things because they know what's in the hearts of all the people who come.
We are truly living in biblical times. The Nace of Purim took place in Iran, in Persia. We are seeing that Nace again today. We are living in a time that we can't imagine how fortunate we are that we see the Yad Hashem. The Ezras Hashem, we look around, look at everybody in this room with one purpose, united, serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what a shul is all about. That's what we are all about.
It's also the davening, even in those days, was like an intimate thing. You were really talking to Hashem. Now, he's got a lot of company.